Hello. Well, it looks like I'm live. Oh, it says I'm live over there as well. I'm trying out new things, so we'll see if these things work. Always trying something different, which probably isn't a good idea. But then, where's the fun otherwise? Say if you can hear me, and say if the mic's all alright. Actually, I haven't set up the filters, so I'll just quickly do that now. Ooh, it's getting all weird. Oh, why can I not set up the filters? Oh, no, it does say filters too. Gain, compressor should be all good. All going well? Let me know. Hello, Lunar Lotus again. Hello, Raymond. Nice to see you on here. Max, it's everybody's here. Yes. Yes, I've got 150,000 subscribers now. That's wonderful, isn't it? Thank you for noticing that, Max. Sebastian, Arsil, I'm not sure actually. Pop. Hello all. Let me know if it sounds okay. Remember, kids, take your vitamins and watch your ads. Yeah, someone told me that they were having an advert every 2 minutes, and that is nothing to do with me. That was when they were watching the stream back. So really, I don't set it up so it happens every 2 minutes. But I thought, well, hey, I'm in there. Mike, sounds good. Thank you. Yes, sir. Good job. And let me know if everything else is going okay. No lag or anything like that. I say lag, but judderiness and that sort of thing. Today I'm hoping to work on the hands, so I'll give it a few minutes and just say, talk about what I'm doing, and wait a few minutes until people arrive. So I always get distracted by reading the stream whilst I'm talking, and it's just something that isn't working for me, but I still try and do it all the time. If someone said, I'm going to pay you $1,000, and it grabbed my attention, I must admit. You're not late at all, Orange Design. Is that the right way to pronounce it? I usually put a G there instead of a J myself. I'm doing well, thank you, Render Rides. Yep, remember to @Grant Abbitt, and then it should come up in orange, and I can see it nice and easily. I was just about to ask about the hand on the desk. Yes, that is my hand. It's a picture of my hand, I should say. And we're very hands-on today. Oh, I love that, Manuel Rodriguez. That's fantastic work. Yes, so we're doing hands today. It is my desk as well. Yes, I mean, you can see that if you really. I don't know if my webcam's set up. There we go. Let's bring that round, and you can see. There's my actual hand next to my fake hand. Oh, there it is. What am I doing? I'm just kind of stalling to give people a chance to join in. Not join in with this silliness, but join in with the stream and everything. So anyway, let's get going, shall we? Right, let's get rid of the webcam first. Turn that bad boy off. I've got Streamlabs going at the moment, so we should get a subscriber alert and things, and that's kind of just a bit of fun to spice things up. I'm not sure why. Yeah, it's going to be handy. Oh, so it's all coming out now. I'm not sure why I'm keen to set it up, but it's just I want to have fun with these things and enjoy myself. Okay, so let's just move my reference images off to the side here so I can see them. This is all my reference images, but we're on boots at the moment. Hands are up here. I've got topology reference images as well because I thought we'd model the hands instead of sculpting. So we will sculpt eventually, but we'll model them first. We've got the good topology that we need for sculpting. I don't know what this is. Anyway, how are people doing? Do you normally model the hands by separate and then join them to the rest of the mesh? Yeah, I've started doing that much more, especially now we've got the remesher. So if you go into sculpt mode, you've got a remesher option, and you can just press Ctrl-J, join it together, remesh, and it does it. Oh, it's just brilliant. You sometimes don't even have to join it. In this case, I won't have to join it because it will go inside the t-shirt, so it'll probably go up to about here somewhere. And I haven't really completely decided how to do this because I'm probably going to test out some cloth physics later on and see if they're worthwhile or not for this particular character. It might not be, but I'll test it out. Not live because that would just be ridiculous. But if I don't get the cloth physics to work, then I'll model the inside, a really basic model. What am I saying? If I get the cloth physics to work, then I will model the inside chest and arm things, and maybe attach the hand, but you don't really need to. There's no particular reason to. Now that's an interesting question. Are the hands going to be stylized or realistic? I was looking at this and I was thinking, well, I mean, they're not particular. This is the character reference sheet, and they're slightly stylized, aren't they? Oh, well, look at that. Unthinkable Fate. Unthinkable Fate. That's a quality name. Thank you very much for your donation there. $10. That's beautiful. Oh, and Sebastian Brandt. Oh, this is very kind of you all. Oh, now that wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to come up with a call alert instead of a bling. But it's kind of cool that it tested it out. Got to change that in a minute, because I even recorded me saying, "Oh, thank you very much," sort of thing. We'll test it out in a bit. But thank you very much for. Oh, you just heard me say it anyway. For the donation. Unthinkable Fate has a question here. Do you have a question? I started making my own video game with no programming or modeling knowledge, and it's coming along great. In large part due to your content. That's good to hear. That's exactly what this is about, isn't it? The community getting together, making cool stuff, which is what we're going to do in a second. So, stylized hands. Are we? So, a separate object was the big question. But if it's a separate object, then won't it be problematic during animation? Not if it's tucked away up here and it's joined to the same bone as the wrist. It shouldn't cause any issues. But I haven't fully tested that, so watch this space, we'll see. I mean, it's not a big problem if I have to join it to a mesh later on. Wow, people have been really generous today. Thank you, Jay, Yasmin. Yeah, that's perfect. I very much appreciate dollars as well as pounds sterling. It's all good to me. Although the exchange rate's all over the place at the moment, isn't it? I'm noticing with all the markets. Why am I going into that? What am I talking about? Let's get on to some actual educational content then. There we go. It's alerting. I really want to change that because I set up my alert, but I'll just quickly go into my settings. I want to sort it out. Super chat is here. And super chat, I'm going to set that up very quickly because I've got this cool sound effect. So I spent at least 5 minutes sorting this one out. Where is it? No. Cancel. Oh, no, that's annoying. It's going to happen. And now I've lost it altogether. Oh, Granny, what are you doing? Right. Super chat. Because they're super chats, they're not donations. You see, that's the confusing bit. So if I go to media here and then go to change media here it's all happening. There it is.
Ooh, well, thank you very much.
There it is. There's my sound. Okay. Couldn't help myself. Just having so much fun with this stuff. Right, so that should work now. Anyway. So thank you very much for donating. Much appreciate it. Right, let's start modelling the hand. Right, so I'll hide everything. I've actually spent a tiny bit of time labelling some things, not much though, labelling a few things over here in the outliner, which you can see there. So we need to add in some hand references. Where is my reference image of my hand? There it is. Oh, I've lost it. There it is. Okay, so let's drag and drop that one in. Bing! And remember, what do we press to undo the rotation and undo the movement? What do we press? I'll bring the other one in whilst you're thinking about that one. Oh, tricky stuff. What do we press? I'll minimise that and wait for people to answer. Whoa! It sounds a bit like Satanic, Grant. It does. It should pop up any second now. I'm very excited about my sound working.
Ooh, well, thank you very much.
Oh, isn't that great? It's not Satanic, Grant. It's echoey, Grant. Thank you very much, Max, on two fronts that I got to test out my new sound effect and for such a large donation. As always, what did we have a discussion about your what you do in life? And was it I can't remember whether we were chatting to you or oh my goodness, lots of people are
well,
donating.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that was a bit quicker that time. Thank you, Faith Drawn Studios as well. Yes, it will be in my YouTube channel later. I never delete the live streams, even if they were dreadful. Well, I suppose there were a few that I was testing that I deleted. Anyway, so we press Alt-R and Alt-G, exactly. Thank you, Dan, the only person who actually answered. Oh, no, yes, sir, as well, answered the question there. So Alt-R and Alt-G. So Alt is like the undo command, isn't it? So Alt-P to undo the parent, and so forth. Alt G and Alt R, and then that one we actually want flat, but we want that rotated, don't we? Oh, have I got that? RZ90. I fancy going the other way, actually. I don't know why. Oh, look, my thumb's sort of coming through. Anyway. And this one needs to be RX90. Oh, I haven't got my screencast keys on. Why didn't someone mention that? It's supposed to have my back here, guys. No, it's not. It's RZ, isn't it? RZ90. Ah, there we go. Okay. G, then X. So I've got my reference images lined up, ready to draw a hand. Let's hide my model just here. I've got this as well. So if you want to deselect something with box select, you control box select and that will deselect something. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, so where's my 3D cursor? Let's put it in the center. So how do I get my 3D cursor to the center? What's the shortcut for that one, guys? Oh, testing you out today, aren't I? Thanks for the fanatic channel content, says Faith Drawn Studios. Is that in terms of the amount that I upload, or is that in terms of my fanaticism? Well, I'm not sure fanaticism is a positive word these days. Oh, you've got another question here as well. Is there any way to set up a macro or something to have reference images already set up on a new project? I guess you could set them up and save defaults, then just change the image. Yeah, I suppose that's one way. I don't find it too bad just dragging and dropping, to be fair. So it's not something that I would want to set up. More important, something I find myself doing all the time is sorry, I'm getting distracted. Is setting up an HDRI in the background, and I really feel like I ought to set up my file and save it with that HDR in the background. Hello, Interpixel. Nice to see you here. What were we saying? I can't. Oh no, it's not Control S, but I better do there we go. Dry Penguin got it. It's Shift C. Shift C will go bloop, and your viewport will go to the center. No, it doesn't. That's weird. Why does it zoom out? I thought the viewport went around the center as well, but you can see it's around the center. My pivot point. Look at that. Isn't that great? Shift S is to move your cursor, and you can go cursor to world origin is the same thing, but Shift C is the quicker way. Well done, Dry Penguin. Doing well. Shift right click does move it as well. Yep. So Shift C, move it back in there. Right. So Shift A to add, and we'll start with a Q. Actually, what should I start with? What should I start with? Now, there's several ways of doing this. I'm thinking a plane. I'm going to go for a plane. 7 on the numpad and into wireframe mode. I could have done this with a box, but then I'd be sort of box selecting the vertices, the one in front and the one behind. Might as well just start with a plane. Oh, it's exciting stuff, isn't it? Modeling hands. Oh, yes. So I'm trying to be a bit quicker because I've noticed that I've not got very far. I've done about 50 million streams. Although I am enjoying myself, so hopefully if other people are enjoying this as well, then it's not too big an issue. But yeah, what's the big deal? Control R, loop cut down the middle there. 2 loop cuts to line up with the fingers. Actually, no, that's a rubbish idea, isn't it? 2 loop cuts. What am I talking about? It's 3 loop cuts because there, to line up with the ends of the fingers, and I'll be doing more to this in a second. As you can see there we go. All making sense? I'm just don't know what people are saying. True, as tutorials are better than most paid ones. Lots of people have said that. That's good to hear, but then a bit concerning about some of the paid content. One paid for course, which I would thoroughly recommend, but it is a affiliated link, so it sounds like I'm trying to promote it. But Zacharias Reinhardt's CG Boost beginner's course, that is good. That's a good one, and it's quite in depth, and it's even got things like particle systems in there and stuff like that. So for a beginner's course, well, I suppose Donut. I was going to say Donut Man. That's really rude. Andrew Price does a donut with particle systems, doesn't he? So anyway, I'm moving these around into position, as you can see here. Now, what I want to do is, now, it's weird this is, because it's quite an easy thing to do, is to sort of reform your topology. But for some reason, when I was doing this live the other day, I got into all sorts of a mess. So I'm actually slightly nervous about retopologizing at the moment. But what I'm thinking is have an extra one coming here, and that should be easy enough. And then we drag this up here, and then we can then, with 2, go into edge mode, right click, subdivide, and now we have, Yeah, why did I find that so difficult the other day? So I've now sort of reshaped the topology, and that's as simple as it should be. But the other day when I was doing the trousers, or the pants, if you're American, for some reason, don't know what was wrong with me. But yeah, there shouldn't be any triangles there because I did an extra point here, so I subdivided them. Watch out for the triangles. Don't allow them triangles. Triangles aren't actually that bad. The only reason why you want to avoid triangles is because if you watch when I press Control R now, it follows a different flow, and the loop cuts can't go through triangles. They can actually be really useful because if I go, let's say, and make a triangle in here, so J to join, and then go Control R, I've stopped my loop cut going all the way around my mesh. So if I've got quite dense topology and I'm thinking, I want to stop it here, I can put a triangle in there and it will stop the flow, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's undo that triangle, because triangles, although they're not completely evil, they are not what we want today. I've been trying to get into Blender for years and just couldn't follow any other beginner tutorials other than yours. I know a natural born teacher when I see one. Thank you, Jay, once again. It's great to have that sort of appreciation. I suppose the thing that I have over other people is that I teach in a college. So I'm doing this all the time and showing people, and then I see the mistakes that they make and how frustrated it can be. I'm just thinking, where's the best place for this? I did this earlier. I was doing a hand model earlier, and I don't know, did it turn out like this? I might bring this. No, let's bring that there. That should be fine. Yeah, so always keep it simple to start with, and then you can build on it and so forth afterwards. Where are we? It's just the deep, soothing voice. That's all it is. That I think I've had other people say that I'm sending them to sleep, and they actually are sharing their annoyance with me that they can't watch my tutorials because I send them to sleep. Can you talk about how you choose how to align all the points of the mesh? Generally, you'd try and go with so edge flow that we tend to talk about. So if I was going very detailed with this, I might have an edge flow going down here. Can you see on my hand? You can see that I've got, because I'm quite a thin person, you can see my bones. What are they called? But it's not just bones, it's tendons actually that are going down there. That's a tendon that's sticking out. So if I wanted to model that tendon, I would need some edge flow going down this direction. Therefore, I'd start pulling all this lot across over here and across over here, so they could follow that tendon flow in this case. It's a new hand topology term. And then I'd probably need another subdivision here. Shall I do that? I suppose I'll just do it as a quick show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to use the knife tool now because it's a bit more tricky. So I'll come down here to here and here. Don't worry about that triangle. It's a triangle. So I can't help but be an idiot sometimes. I think I'm a little bit tired. I always get a bit tired about 4 o'clock. That's not a good time to do a live stream. And then I can just click and drag this one into each other. And now we've so it would flow therefore down that tendon. And the reason you have that is so that when you're doing things like loop cuts, so if I do a loop cut here, I could then raise that up and you would see the tendon. So you try and, where you've got a natural flow along your model, that's when you would try and line up your edge flow. Okay, so I'm going to undo all that, as good as all that is. I suppose actually it might be, it might confuse things actually. So I'm going to undo all that. Somewhere around here, go back, and we're there. Yep, there's a cool. Okay, so top view, right? So I'll show you a few other things with topology. This is quite useful stuff. Oh, it's all coming out today, I tell you. Oh my god, a pole! It's a pole. Okay, I'm just having a look for all this. Yes, indeed, yeah. Blender for business, eh? Oh, how about that? Right, so I'm going to do some loop cuts down here, so we can divide up. So there'll be a natural flow out here when where the fingers go. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense, doesn't it? G, grab that up there. And which way do I want this one to go? Have a think. Which way? Should I have it coming down here, or should I have it coming down there? What do you reckon? Have a think. From what I've been saying, what do you reckon? Ding, ding, ding. I need a little timer, don't I, to see what people are thinking. Have a think. Have a think. I wish I knew how to use Blender, says Juan. The Wire Witch. If you're going for a low poly character, would you need that level of detail in the hand, the tendons and stuff? No, certainly not. And I'm not going to in this case because I can sculpt that on and then apply it as a normal map later. To the left, everybody's saying, to the left. Good job. Now, the reason being, is because it follows that line of the tendon. But is that the important thing at the moment, or do I need more topology down here? And I'm actually thinking, it's a bit of a trick question really, because I'm actually thinking it would be helpful because this is quite a big space here, whereas this isn't, you see. And I've got to attach this bit to the arm. So it was a bit rude of me actually, because that was a slight trick question. And I slightly changed my mind halfway through when asking it. So I'm very sorry. Very sorry. There's that one dislike. Well, that's probably why. They heard me and they knew what I was doing, playing with people. So actually, although it doesn't follow the topology flow in this case, but as the Wire Witch was saying, I'm not going to show the tendons in this case. So, I mean, I could be wrong, but I would like to have some more topology down here for my thumb. There we go. And we'll just spread these out. And it's sensible. I've got proportional edit on, so I'm going to just turn that off. GG to spread them out. Why am I spreading them out, do you think? Have a think about that as well. I'm doing a very school teachery job today, aren't I? Why am I spreading them out? It's quite a tricky question to sort of answer actually, but I'll do my best. I remember the trick answers question better. To be fair, to the left would have been better if it was going to be a high poly object and I wanted to follow the tendons. So you were right, guys. In this case, with the low poly stuff, I want to sort of change the flow slightly. Although I don't want the flow to change until I get to this point. I mean, it might be bad topology what I'm doing here, but you'll see what I'm doing in a second. It will to have more spaces. How long will this tutorial be live? I'm probably going to go out to about 6 o'clock. I'm going out this evening. And I'm going out at 7, so I've got to get ready. Just to a friend's house. Less stretching when they animate. Things like that, for example, it's much better if you can have your mesh fairly even without sort of big gaps in, and then things like animation will look much smoother. When you're adding a sort of topology flow, it just is much easier to, so a multi-resolution modifier, you'll be able to sculpt in it much easier because it will, or a subdivision surface modifier, it will subdivide each of your squares. So exactly that. Well done, guys. Even topology can be very useful and good. So how am I going to do the fingers? Because obviously when this is extruded down here, let's go to solid mode so you can see, and get everything selected. I mean, you could even follow along if you. I suppose I should have said that at the start. Follow along, and you can download my hand model if you wanted to. Would people like to do that? I mean, you can always. Every time Grant says topology, take a sip. Indeed. Would people like my hand to follow along at all, or anything like that? I think that's probably worth doing, isn't it? I'll put it on for anybody who thinks they could catch up. Maybe you could test yourself, and those that are really good and watching this just ironically, if you know what I mean. Oh, my screen just went weird there, didn't it? So you're sort of like awesome at Blender and you're having a laugh at me. You could do a hand yourself and do it much better than me, and then post it and say, look how good I am compared to Grant. He's rubbish. Where was I? So oh yes, I was going to go to Google. That was it. Google Drive. So where my hand model is, and get that shared hand. I think I loaded it to Drive. Oh, I can't find it. No, it's going to be here. Oh, you just have to get your own hand. Oh no, there it is. There they are. So if I right click on this, get shareable link, and then live stream. How do I put something in the description? Oh, I'm going to actually have to go onto my video. Oh, it's all very complicated. I've got a funny thing happened to me the other day. Whilst I'm just going to chat away whilst putting these things up online. Should have done this before, shouldn't I? someone said, "Oh, can you do an animation for me? Because I want it to prove a point." And he said, "Follow the link." So I thought, okay, I'll follow the link and see where he's going. And interestingly, to me anyway, so here's my link, hopefully, to my shared file. I'm probably going to have to just get the shared settings, and it can view, there we go. I'm going to copy the link again. Sorry, I'll get back to my cool story. It's a really exciting story. So in the description now is my hand. My hand's in the description. I've just got the... there's a side one as well, even though I've called it size instead of side. Don't know what I was doing there. Get shareable link. And let's put that one in as well, just in case for anybody that wants to follow along. Enjoy my hand. No hand abusing though. I don't want it turned into a meme or anything like that. I can trust you guys, can't I? Okay, so where were we? Right. So yeah, this cool story. It turned out he wanted an animation to prove the world was flat. Yes, indeed. I mean, that's the one thing I'm quite open to new ideas and all that sort of stuff. But flat Earth, I couldn't help but sort of wonder why he really believed that. And I don't mean to be insulting, but it was interesting to see his responses to my thoughts, which was I don't really anyway, it's an interesting story that I got contacted by a flat earther to do an animation to prove the world was flat. Interesting stuff. I thought a Ronnie Corbett joke was coming. I wonder if people know who Ronnie Corbett is though. So I'm losing track of questions. No, I think we're all right. We're okay. And remember to put @Grant so that I can easily find your questions. I'm recently trying to relearn Blender now and would like to focus more on sculpting. And I just want you to know that your beginner videos help me a lot. Sorry, yeah, thank you. I thought that was a question then, but thank you very much anyway, Gerald. Nice stuff. Okay, so yes, indeed. I did say to this flat earther that I don't think I'm too bothered if the world's flat, because I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference to me. It's not made any difference so far. If I'm wrong and the world isn't spherical, I don't think it's going to make too much difference. So what's the worth worrying about? And then it was sort of, oh, but you're lied to. And I was thinking, I don't know, at some point you've got to trust somebody. And I trust the majority of scientists out there that say it's spherical. I'm getting really sidetracked anyway. But I just thought that was absolutely fascinating. So, so what I'm going to do now is I need space for the fingers. So imagine this is extruded down. And we've only got a square here, haven't we? A square? Yep, a square, to extrude out. And that's not really enough topology for my liking because it's square shaped instead of cylindrical. So we're going to have to build up a bit more topology around there for it to work. Earth's not flat. There we go, Marvin. 4 candles. No, 4 candles. That's the old 2 Ronnies there. Anyway, let's undo that. So I'm back. So I need to create some more topology at the end here somehow. And it's kind of helpful to create some knuckles as well. So what we can do, have a think, how can I add topology to this? Just have a quick think and think to yourself, how would I sort of maybe use the knife tool in here, loop cuts, what can I do? If I do use loop cuts, then it's going to add more topology all the way down. So do I definitely want to use a loop cut? Probably not. If Earth would be flat, you could see everything on horizon. I mean, we could get into the science of this, but I think we're probably I think we're all in agreement on the stream here. Could be wrong. I'm really sorry if I've offended flat earthers, but yeah. What he was saying was, it's quite interesting. He's saying when the sun comes over the Earth and there's a person on here, why do the shadows go down the side of the Earth? And I said, well, from GCSE science that I did, and that's all I'm qualified to say, is that light goes in straight lines but acts like waves. So it's going to sort of diffuse slightly and go around the corner. But yeah. Anyway, so this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to get my knife tool and cut in here like this. Okay. And then we got a dreadful n-gon going around the corner here. Oh, Grant, what are you playing at? Well, then we go to, we press 1, we get these two and press join. And these two and press join. J, I'm pressing, not join. J is the join button. And now we've created a quad mesh that flows around the fingers. How about that, eh? Everybody's loving the flat earth stuff. I found it incredibly interesting. And unfortunately, because I wasn't like spending all my time answering his YouTube stuff, I tend to sort of go and go onto YouTube, answer a few comments, go away again. I don't want to be sort of stuck on my phone all my life, do I? Answering comments. But so he wrote a few comments, and there was only like half an hour. Then I went back on and thought, oh, there's 9 comments there, and they sort of gradually got more and more aggressive. And yeah, I suppose now I'm probably being disrespectful to them, so maybe I ought to give them a break. But one thing they did say, which I thought was kind of funny, and it gets a bit primary school when it gets like this, but it's, you're probably not good enough to do it anyway, as in the 3D animation. And I said to him, actually, I don't think my computer could handle it, because if you think about how big the globe is, and then a person standing on top, or even the tallest thing, the sort of man-made thing that you can easily see a shadow from, like a building or something, I don't think that the resolution, I probably wouldn't have the resolution to do that, because my processor wouldn't be able to handle it, was my response. And he didn't get back to me after that. Anyway, so you can see I'm cutting these things in here. You can just use the knife tool to go from there to there, or select them both and press J to join. Not F to fill, because F to fill is when there's no geometry there. So we're actually sort of cutting when we're joining the shape. That's important to remember. If I didn't have any faces there at all, and it was all just a wireframe, then I'd use the fill option. So J to join there, J to join there. Perfect. Or is it? So we've got a sort of hand model there, haven't we? It's working. Now I suppose I can start doing some shape. I probably need a cut down here, don't I? I'm pressing the wrong bit. I always press 1 instead of 7. That's a really bad habit I seem to have got stuck in my head. So let's do another cut down there, and we're ready for a bit of thumb. I mean, I could do the same up the top here, going around the top of the thumb, if I want to, but we'll see. Still more discussion going on about the flat earthers. I thought people might be interested in that. I was fascinated. I couldn't help but be fascinated at how important it was to that person to prove that the world was flat. And I suppose the other thing I said to him was that why would so many people be in on the lie? What do they have to gain by it? Given science aside, which he probably wasn't happy with me saying, but why would anybody lie about that? What's the point? Saying the world is flat when it isn't. You can't really gain much from that, can you? Conspiracy, but usually with a conspiracy, there's motive for a conspiracy. Like, did the Americans really land on the moon? All that sort of stuff is another conspiracy. But you can see that there'd be a reason for them to fake it in that scenario. But to fake the moon being flat. Am I going Z there? Yeah. The moon being flat, the world being flat. Anyway, I'm going off on one again, aren't I? I do tend to go off on one a bit, don't I? Got to stop doing that. But I suppose here I am kind of talking to myself in a sense. So it'd be nice if I could do sort of phone-ins and chat to people. Did I forget the Discord link again? Oh, that is really annoying. That is very annoying. Thank you for reminding me, Max. I'm going to forget again, because I think it's quite awkward for me to go on to Discord, because I can't remember where it is on Discord. Can someone quickly send me the link to Discord, then I can put it on the description. Yeah, I don't think the moon landings were fake. For a moment, I thought, I wonder if they were. When you first hear that story, were they faked? And then there's all the conspiracy stuff about this couldn't have possibly happened and so forth. Actually, see, my topology is a bit bad there, actually. That's not good edge flow as such, so we'll probably have to tidy that up a bit. But yeah, so I was sort of drawn in a bit by that to start off with. And then I thought, no, it's ridiculous. And the best argument I heard, actually, was from someone in film saying they didn't have the technology to live broadcast like that. They just wouldn't have been able to do all the sort of visual effects that needed to sort of show gravity. And I thought about it because I'm sort of got a bit of a film background. I thought, actually, yeah, that's ridiculous. Anyway. Sometimes, anyway, let's just stop talking about that and let's start talking about 3D modeling. Okay, so I've got all wobbliness here, so I can just press S, then Z, 0, and it will scale in the Z0, and I can sort of undo the wobbliness. Actually, I need to go to side view now, don't I? Oh, I haven't aligned so one hand's bigger than the other. We don't want that, do we? So let's scale this in. So I'm looking at this finger here, and it's sort of in line. Well, I'll just have to sort of do it by eye a little bit. So it's this finger is the first finger. So, but then the thumbs. Oh, it's just a really bad angle, actually, isn't it? So find better reference images than my hands. I don't know why I went through the effort of uploading my hands onto here, because no one's really going to use these. This is a dreadful image, isn't it? Anyway, there we go. The funny thing about hands is, when you're modelling them, they're so much wider than you think, and that's because if they're flat like this, then they're not that wide, but your thumb drops down, and people always do it like this, when actually the thumb it comes down like this. It's something that's easy to forget about. So let's change the thickness into edit mode with ease. The bottom face is still selected, and I suppose actually I need to move this down a bit. Grab the Z, move it down. I'm going to rotate it slightly as well. That will help, won't it? And this is interesting because that should be the front. We should be alright. I can just get a rough idea from there. Oh man, all the conspiracies coming out now. Oh man, everybody's getting into it. But yeah, I didn't want to be nasty to this person because he really believed this, and you can't. I don't know. I feel bad. What has led him into that position? So I try not to judge anybody, because that could easily be us, and maybe well, there could all sorts of situations there. Right. So obviously the finger part is way too thick, isn't it? But the thumb part's about right. In fact, am I doing this right? I'm getting distracted by flat Earth stuff. That just looks dreadful. You see? No, that's okay actually. It just looks too wide, doesn't it? The fingers aren't particularly wide. But anyway, now before I go in and start doing any finger stuff, then what I'll need to do, I've distracted myself again, is what do I need to do? Oh yes, yeah. So okay, I'll go through this process. In fact, I suppose we probably need to tidy up and bring these edges up a little bit first. Not those two though. That's right, isn't it? G then Z, and just create some curve. This edge loop along here probably needs to go up a little. No, it doesn't. Not that. What am I thinking? That there. G Z. There we go. This. Oh, I can't see my hand's in the way. No, you can see it didn't go. That's worth chatting about a bit. I'll hide my references. Where are my references? Where are my references? That's weird. Oh, there they are. Good. When I selected this edge loop with Alt left click, see it selects all this one nicely. Why does it not select that one all the way across there? Have a think why that is. Get back to the teaching. Back to the teaching. So the reason being, wait for it, it's because there's a pole there, and you can't select edge loops that go through poles. So these will go up to here, but there's a pole there. These should go all the way around. There's no poles, but this one, it stops there because there's a pole. And what is a pole? It is, how would you describe a pole, anybody? How would you describe a pole? Not a person from Poland. Poland, I don't think that sounded quite right, did it? But it is, I'm just going to grab that one and this one as well. Someone from Poland, yeah, I got there before you. Double verts, no, it's not double verts actually. It's
well, thank you very much.
Oh, look at that. Hello Milan, nice to see you on here again. I was thinking, it made me jump, my own voice echoing there. Thanks very much for your support once again. Exactly, not 4 edges coming out of them. That's a pole. But that's not how you define a Polish person either. Oh, the funny ones, they're all coming out. You just can't help but get in there with the dad jokes, can we? Oh, that's not. I thought proportional edit was on there. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I do get distracted on these streams. It's quite fun, but you can see that I'm getting distracted and I'm doing weird stuff. I'm just trying to create a bit of shape, so it's got a bit of handiness to it. Well, hey, handiness. But it looks like a hand is what I'm trying to say. Let's bring that up a little bit. Why am I doing this? Because that's not even really the shape of a hand, is it? Anyway, G, Z. Oh, someone subscribed. Leandra Walker just subscribed. There we go. Delightful. Do I need those ones on the bottom? Probably not. So I probably should have extruded first and then done those top things. They might help though, so we'll go with those. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select these faces and I want to turn them into a circle. What's a great way to turn these things into a circle? There's actually a couple of options, but there's one very good one. What is it? Someone else, Into Pixel, just subscribe. Did you unsubscribe Into Pixel and then resubscribe just to hear that? Because I'm pretty sure you're a subscriber, but you might not be. Do you think Maya has better graphics than Blender? It's not the program. It's like, does Bob Ross have better brushes than Picasso? It's the skill. It's not the program, generally speaking. I mean, there's certain things that will help. Is everybody unsubscribing and resubscribing just for fun? Well, thanks for subscribing, Georgie. These teachings will come in handy one day. Okay, so in order to do this, we can do exactly that. Loop tools, right click, loop tools. I've got loop tools installed. If you haven't, edit preferences, add-ons. I'll bring that down here. Add-ons. Type in loop up here. And you've got loop tools there. Make sure it's ticked. There's been a sudden glut of subscribers, and I'm sure they're just enjoying my little zombie animation up there. Anyway, right click, loop tools, and there is circle. It actually did a better job than I thought it was going to, but it hasn't done a great job. Okay, so there's a couple of things we might need to do. So I'll undo that. Oh, I undid the hide as well. Sometimes, do you notice that with the undo tool in 2.82? Sometimes it goes a couple of steps, and I'm going to turn my volume down with my desktop audio. How dare you? Dare you people. Okay, so one, it's because I've got all the faces selected, and that might be causing a problem, so I need to select the outside edges, and that might help it. I'm not sure that's exactly it though, but sometimes that helps, so we'll go right click, loop tools, circle, and it did the same thing. The other thing is that let's check our mesh. Let's press N and go up to item. Polly Bloom, are you not a subscriber? How did you hear about the stream then? Where are we? Actually, the scale's all set to 1, so I'm just talking rubbish now. How annoying is that? But generally, if you press Control A and you need to set the scale, it might the rotation might be slightly out. No, the rotation. So rotation and scale. Sometimes you need to click that and go back in and sort of reset and do the loop tools and do the circle. And usually it does a good job, but it's not doing a great job today. So we want to sort of go perpendicular to it just by eye and rotate it around. I'm going to scale it in a bit so it doesn't interfere with the others. About there. Okay, and I need to kind of do that for the other ones as well. So all around here, turn them into circles. I mean, I can probably do this fairly manually. I could probably just grab this up, grab the Z, grab this down. And you can do it sort of manually like this, and it doesn't do such a bad job. These want to be quite low. Look, you people. It's one of those classic sort of internet things, isn't it? If I say stop messing about, everybody's going to unsubscribe and subscribe, aren't they? Classic. Can't help but laugh myself. It's like when students do something funny in the class, I can't help but laugh a lot of the time. I'm just giggling away myself because I'm a little bit childish, really. I can't help it. And they do say some funny things. Anyway, so we've got a bit more of a circle going on with it. No, we haven't. What are you talking about, Grant? Let's circularize these things. This is where I'm taking too much time because I should be doing this much quicker. Right, loop tools, circle. Why is it I don't actually know why it's doing it off at an angle like that. There's probably something about my mesh. I did this earlier, I thought, I don't want any surprises, so I'm going to just quickly model a hand, make sure I remember how to do it. And I did it earlier, and it all worked perfectly, didn't it? That one didn't mess about so much, that one. I probably, well actually, this, your fingers are different thicknesses, so this one's a bit thicker. But what I'll do is I'll model one finger, and then join them all together, and then resize them after that is probably the best way. Actually, I don't know, is it the best way? Probably. Let's try it with faces and see if that's different, because that's quicker to select, isn't it? Loop tools, that's clever, isn't it, that it does that like that. There we go. So we've got our fingers ready. And this, well, I could spend ages sort of sorting things out then. What are people saying? Just having a look at the questions and things and discussion people are having. Very interesting. You can't sue Blender. Are your students autists like us? When you say autists, like autistic, I mean, some of my students, in fact, we do get quite a lot of autistic students in game design. It's really common. I think there must be something about the sort of programming and the sort of, I don't know, there's something about an autistic personality, isn't there? We get lots of autistic people, but is that what you meant? Or did you mean artists? Because it, yeah, but we get a lot of artists as well. But we get a mix between sort of artists and game, sort of programmers type people. So people who are doing computer science alongside games design, because there's only one option for us. They have to take 3 options at A level. And the other students, some of them are doing art alongside games design. I'm more an arty person, as you may have noticed. Anyway, let's get one of these fingers. So I'm going to select these, and I'm going to duplicate them so I've got the exact size and I can link it up afterwards. Clever thinking. But what happens when I press Shift D now and then right click to set it? That's great. So I've got my duplicate here, and when I move it around, hang on a minute, what's going on there? What do you think's going on there? What could be happening? Yeah. No problem, Milan. Nice to see you. In the angle of the viewport, was it loop tools? I'm not sure actually, maybe. Autistis is generally accepted colloquial for internet self-researcher nerd that lives in basement and never comes out, like us. Yeah, they probably are. A lot of them. I'm getting more and more like that though, because I'm finding I'm sort of chilling out, meeting people online, chatting away, so I'm quite enjoying not going out. I do go out and play sport a lot though, so I go out and play football. Can you tell me how much it is for a 1 hour lesson? What, with me? I don't really do that much anymore. I used to charge, I think it was £50 for a 1 hour lesson. But I find, I don't know, I prefer doing this sort of thing really. It's more fun, isn't it? With lots of students then. Anyway, I really don't like the way this is working out. It's not working out well, but I can always just drag this down to here like that, and that'd be fine. Anyway, why did it not work? The separate part, why was it not working? Hello, Felix. Nice to see you. Auto merge, well done. Vixo, well done. Yes, Ashley Barnes, it was auto merge, indeed. You said merge, but more auto merge, I think, was what you meant. Yes. So what I need to do before I do that is come down. I'll just bring them up so you can see all my tools there. Just checking that you can see everything. It's all happening. That's good. I just, excellent connection. It's quite something for me. Earlier on, my internet was going at 3 megabits per second or whatever it is, and I was thinking this is not going to be a healthy live stream, but it's doing fine now. We say. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh yes, so under here we've got auto merge turned on, which is great for sliding verts into other verts and merging them. I mean soccer, yes, and I don't mean soccer because it's football here. We're in England and it's football. Anyway. Where were we? So turn auto merge off. Now if I select these faces and press Shift D to duplicate and right click, so it's set the duplication. So if I press G now, they are separate. That's great. I can now press P separate by selection or loose parts, because it's one loose part, but selection in this case is fine. And I'm just going to grab it really slightly out. Oh no, I'm still, I have to go into object mode first, select those, and then, if I can select those. Why is that not selecting? Is it selecting? That's weird. I'd say it works, but who knows? I'm going to just move, yeah, they are there. They just must be really slightly behind. Right, grab on the Y really slightly. There, get those, there we go. Anyway. Actually, have I got any mods on? Because some people's messages are being hidden, and it'd be nice. I don't think anybody's being rude or anything, so I'm sure we can just let people, you know, yeah. Or does anybody want to be a mod? It's a very responsible job opportunity there. Save your work. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, let's save your work. So let's save as. What am I going to call this one? I think I'm going to call this one 10B. Thanks. And keep hydrated. I'm not too bad, but I haven't brought a drink with me, so I'd have to go and run off somewhere. I'm not going to do that. Just seems wrong to run away from a live stream. Although I did do that once because I had a really important parcel. I want to be mod. Okay, there we go. So Spiky Danto. Oh, I can't get you. Where are you? Add moderator. Congratulations. You are now a moderator. Yep, the live stream will be on YouTube later. I need to put that. May I be a Flat Earth Enforcer mod? I'm afraid I wouldn't recommend that. Anyway, let's grab this out here. Why can I not even grab it now? What's going on? Grab it. Gee, there we go. Okay, let's move it out so we can start playing around with this. And 7, and let's just extrude. Oh, into edit mode. Oh, let's select all and extrude them out. Yeah, that's one thick finger. I'm just going to go to the knuckles for now. Yeah, they are. Yeah, knuckles. E to extrude, and just to there, and E to extrude, and to there. And let's scale it down into position roughly. I'm going to press N to get rid of my thingy-jiggy. Okay, so how am I going to sort out the end here? Because if I press this to sort of curve it out, actually it doesn't look as bad as I thought. It's not actually that bad, but I could make this better topology. How could I make it better topology? I'll tidy this up whilst you're thinking about that one. There we go. And that one needs tidying up, doesn't it? Oh, it's not. Maybe I needed one other cut in there, but probably not. How can I make this better topology? Right, let's have another look at my finger. I mean, yeah, I can just sort of bring this back and bring this one back a little bit. Oh, did I get it there? Let's center around that one there. GG, and move it back. It's sort of looking finger-ish already, isn't it? It is a term, finger-ish. I'm just having a look. I was doing boxing method that you showed earlier on your stream. I did 2 different boxes for legs and feet, then sculpted them. But when I want to join them together, I couldn't. Any tips? Yeah, so I'll save my work, then I'll show you what's going on. I'm assuming I'm going to answer your question anyway, so save. So if I want to join these 2 objects together, there's a really nice, easy way. If I just make sure they're overlapping like this, and then select them both, Control J, and then go to Sculpt Mode, and then go to Remesh, and they're joined together. Ta-da! And I can then sculpt on this beautifully. Okay? Anyway, I'm going to undo those steps. There we go. And we're in object mode, and back to there. Yeah, do I need to inset the face at the end? Maybe that would work. Maybe that's the best way. Inset. Is that the best way? Interesting. Interesting. Perhaps. Any other ways? Don't you usually use Control Select to select the shortest distance? Yeah, you could do that. Yep. So from this edge to this edge, I can control select. That's pretty handy actually. That would be much better than what I did. I think I did this, didn't I? There are only 3 of them though, so you can give me a break there. Yes, that's one way. What did I do earlier actually? I'm trying to think because I had a better way of doing it earlier. So if I press the knife tool in here, do you know, I can't even remember how I did it now. I'm going to go up to here for now. Press enter and do it over here as well. That's really weird because I did this earlier and it was in my head. You know, I keep doing this, don't I? That's right. So now if I did a cut up here, for example, it's probably not the simplest way to do it, but up here, then you can easily delete these dissolve edges and dissolve edges. So it's not quite as much as the inset from earlier. And in fact, that's a horrendous topology. You see, as soon as I'm live, I start going all crazy and doing weird things. What am I doing? Let's try it across the bottom. This is the right way to do it, I'm sure it is. So if I come up in here, because I want an edge flow going around. No, I do want an edge flow going around the top for the well, let's just do that because I need that. That's what I need. And in fact, you could get by doing that, and that would be fine. Even though you've got a triangle in there, you've got this extra face here, and it sort of follows the curve a bit more. We'll probably need another loop cut around here for the nail and things if you wanted to. But I've got a quad in here, not a quad, a triangle in here. I can just press Control R across there, and then suddenly I've got an edge flow going around here instead, and I've got quads. Sometimes it's good to even these things out. Not even these things out, but show you're away from a triangle just for your head to understand the sort of edge flow and stuff. I still don't feel like that's the right or best way to do it, but it's working. So we're just going to go with that for now. Otherwise I'll spend ages trying to figure out what I did earlier. I'm still not quite happy with that. But like I say, it works, so it's not really a problem. And a triangle would work as well, and you don't have to worry. But if I want to do a loop cut, I can still do a loop cut. But would I want to do a loop cut? What would be the problem if I did a loop cut here? It would be where it joins to the end here. So I can't really, I have to get away from the thought of doing loop cuts. And loop cuts are good, definitely. But where you can limit the amount of loop cuts, sometimes it's, if you're trying to keep the topology down, you need to keep the loop cuts down. Otherwise, you know, like some people, when they first do a car, I see loads of students doing this, and they come to the wheel arch, and then they've got loop cut, and it's just going down, it's going all across their car, and at the front they're doing a light, and they're cutting it all up, and then it's going all the way down the whole car, and you're thinking, oh man, this is a nightmare sort of thing. So where you can learn to re-flow your topology like this, so if I do a loop cut here, can you see how that goes all the way up and around, or round there? It sort of redirects the flow, and that can be useful. I mean, you can delete the faces, then grid fill. That's another way of doing it. Yeah, that's quite a good way actually. Yeah. Spiky Danto is enjoying his power. Grid fill would do this anyway. Yes, it's just a bit quicker. If you don't have to think about grid fill. The only problem is it might not be the flow that you want. Yes, definitely don't ban anybody unless they're, basically only ban people if they're a bot. Even if a flat earther came on and wanted to convert it all to flat earthing, that's the thing, then I wouldn't ban them unless they started spamming and saying you must be flat earthers, then we'd have to get rid of them. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. Try and be very liberal, as Max puts it there. Just having a look at what people are saying. So I need to just line these up a little bit. There we go. And if you're thinking, because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this yet. Yeah, I'm probably just going to link this up as is and then retopologize with a multi-resolution modifier. Although I was watching something today from Pablo, the person who does all the sculpt tools, and he was talking about the multi-resolution modifier and how it's actually a problem in the way that they've redeveloped the sculpting tools, and how it's something they need to solve. And that's why I'm reluctant at the moment to use the multi-resolute, or in my head I'm thinking, do I want to use that and have lots of problems? But it still is the best way, I think, for this type of thing, because I'm doing the topology first. I might as well use the multi-resolution modifier, because that does well with good topology. And I think by the looks of things, what I was looking up, I should be okay, hopefully anyway. But with this topology, with this low poly topology, what is missing? If I try and animate this, what's the problem there if I try and animate it? Have a think, what do I need to do to this if I wanted to animate these fingers at the end? The bot dissemination in this stream is awful. Oh, discrimination. Yeah, I just, there's something about bots. It's, I know I shouldn't judge. It's not their fault. It's the way they've been programmed. Yes, you would need more knuckle edge loops indeed, because when we're animating, we need more edge flow. And I can do it like this, or I can just select one loop and Control B, bring it out and put a new loop in the middle there. And 3 is often the case. And I've seen some very clever, oh, it's a subscriber, Roderick Willis. Thanks for subscribing. And I've seen some very topology based things for low poly stuff where they do triangles, and it's really clever and it's really cool. And they just have a triangle on the outside because you don't need the extra topology. Drink, everybody. On the inside. Don't drink, everybody. That's not yeah. Indeed. That's right. It's Corey. Yes, indeed. You're well knowledged. Well knowledged, is that such a thing? In the ways of Blender, aren't you? Yeah, it's the up and down the resolution. But I think it's more if you try and use the other sculpt tools alongside it, like the IK sculpt, not the IK, but you know, the bone moving tools. That's what I understood anyway. I'm just sort of bringing those up so I can see where the knuckles are. I might bring these ones up as well. These ones as well. G then Z, just so I've got that sort of, there's some knuckles there. It's starting to look a bit like a hand, and now I can, I mean, that finger is a fat finger though, isn't it? No offence to those that have fat fingers. There's nothing wrong with fat fingers, unless it's affecting your health. What are you talking about, Grant? Let's go to multi-object editing. Select both, edit. Oh, look at this. Isn't this great? Now I can move these into position because we have beautiful tools in 2.8. This was introduced that you can edit multiple objects at the same time. Oh, how about that? It's just when you're used to how annoying things used to in the old days. In fact, there's loads of people still using 2.79, isn't there? But that's why you should be using 2.8 for things like that you think, oh, that's just a godsend, that isn't it? Better than my skinny wizard fingers. Yeah, I think I've got finger shaming now. What's going on? I've got piano player fingers. I think that's. I used to play the piano as a kid. Don't really play it much anymore. But yeah, so quite thin and spindly mine are. And look what I've done to my finger. I broke it, and this was about I don't know, maybe about 3 months ago now. I think so. Anyway, something like that. And look at it. It probably not 3 months. Maybe. But it just I obviously desiccated it, and it went back into place. It was quite cold, so it hurt, but I didn't realise it had desiccated. And then I must have broken it at the same time. And then I just kept playing football every week still and going in goal. What an idiot. Soccer. And then I kept bashing it, and then it just turned into this. And oh no, it's dreadful, isn't it? Can you see that on there? Yeah, you can. And that's as straight as it goes. Bad, isn't it? So you don't really want to be using my hand for references. Although that's my left hand. So that's my nice hand, my good hand. Back in the day when Blender used to be all light grey, indeed. Anyway, yeah. What was I doing? Oh yeah. So I want to join this finger up, don't I? But I might as well use that finger and bring it over here. Shift D to duplicate. I don't want to use Alt D. Why do I not want to use Alt D? What does Alt D do? And oh, first of all, why is it doing this and rotating weirdly? What's going on? Can't possibly cope with that. What's it doing? First answer that one. And then what does Alt D do instead of Shift D? I'm just going to realign this whilst you're answering my question. answer me these questions 3. Anybody watch a bit of Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail? Not sure quite why that popped into my head, really. Wrong origin. Pivot point. Yes, indeed. So there's my origin. And why is my origin there is the other question. Who put it over there? Reset the origin. Indeed, that's what I need to do. So I'll do that now. Into object mode, right click, set origin to geometry is going to be the easiest way. Not that it makes a lot of difference, but it's just probably... Actually, I probably want the origin around here, really. But it doesn't really matter too much. Just Shift D, linked duplicates. Yeah, Alt D is actually linked duplicates, yes. Or instances. Is that the right word? It just didn't sound right for a moment then. Yep, so if I did Alt D, let's Alt D this, and then let's start changing this. Notice how it selects everything on the other one as well. And that's really, really handy, but not what we want at the moment. So thanks for trying, matey. There we go. Discrimination against linked duplicates now. It's just all coming out. It's all my discrimination. Okay, so this one is... That's all right, actually, isn't it? Is that all right? I haven't really been lining up my... There we go. We need this lined up with the knuckle. That's right. Just so everybody's answering the question. That's cool. Good job. Is it okay for me asking you questions as we go along? I just feel like I do that in the classroom. And it's a way of me involving people and having a bit of fun. But I might just be being silly. And maybe people think, why are you asking us these stupid things? Is it okay? Do you mind? Clone finger lives matter. I couldn't help but delete him. He was getting on my nerves, that link duplicate. It's awesome. That's cool. Thanks, Max. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's... is that right, that finger? Probably needs a bit of adjusting. Probably should have scrubbed my nails a bit before I did this. They don't look too bad, do they? There's a bit of coronavirus in there, I think. Is that funny? I don't know. Might not be a good time, really, for that sort of thing. Is there ever a good time for the coronavirus? Now I'm discriminating against viruses. It's not on, is it? It's not on. So just Shift D, duplicating. I swear, if you were my actual teacher, I would love school. Now, my students, they're very nice students, but I don't feel I can be as liberal as I am on YouTube because too soon. I'm getting less serious about my teaching, but there just feels like so many rules in teaching. You can't do this, can't do that. And to be fair, lots of the rules make a lot of sense because some teachers in the past have been absolute idiots. But sometimes you kind of lose a bit of fun, like really, it's things like bad language. I mean, there can't be many. Not that I use bad language, but I don't really have a problem if a teacher wanted to. Hey, Blender guy, thank you very much. I got back into sculpting because you're a great channel. Sorry for the low donation. No, never apologise for low donations. It all helps. It's really appreciated, and it all goes to supporting the channel. Much appreciated. What's I saying? Yeah, so bad language in the classroom. I don't care.
Ooh, well, thank you very much.
I can't help but laugh at myself. Oh, what an idiot! What an idiot I am. Actually, if you've got any suggestions for sounds I can make with the donations, then let me know. There's a bit of a delay on that one, wasn't there? Yes, I suppose that we got to be careful with which finger and all that sort of stuff. You can joke in the classroom a fair bit. I do lots of silly jokes in the class. I'm pretty much like this in the classroom, actually, I must admit. Satanic Grant. He's not satanic, Max. That's not what it's meant to be. Anyway, where were we? So we're just copying this, aren't we? What is he teaching? So do you mean what am I a teacher of when I'm teaching at school? I'm a games design teacher. Although I just generally do 3D modelling and stuff. And someone else, they got a new person in who's going to do all the actual game designing. He's going to use Construct, a game engine sort of thing, which is sort of it's sort of simpler than Unity, I think, isn't it? But it looks really cool and nice and quick to make games with. He's a bit of a whiz on that, so that's going to be cool. There we go. Now we got what looks to be something very handy. Oh.
Ooh, well, thank you very much.
Oh. I did not hear the first time today my donation. I thought you weren't going to be able to join us, Milan. It's nice to have you back and donating. Thank you very much.
Ooh, thank you very much.
Roller coaster announcer, Grant. Do you think? Anyway, where were we? I was modelling this hand at one point, and then I got distracted. Okay, so we can join the hand together. What's the best way to join? Well, let me see. I mean, is this hand looking right? Let's go to solid mode quickly and check. I feel like I was discussing Grant's voice from the other world. I was discussing something before this, or teaching something, wasn't I? I was doing some teaching. I was here on YouTube doing some teaching at one point. I feel like I got distracted by my voice. It doesn't line up very well there, does it? No, it doesn't matter too much. Anyway, so the first thing we need to do is join them together. I mean, is it looking handified? It's not looking too bad actually at the moment. I wasn't expecting to take the whole session up during doing hands, but it looks like it probably will. Yeah, so let's grab them, all the objects, and now which one do I want to select last, and why does it matter? Because I'm joining them all together. Thanks for subscribing, Alfie. So I'm pressing Control J. Hang on. No, I'm not. Yeah, Control J. Oh, sorry, I'm getting confused now. Yeah, so Control J, not Control P because that's parent. Control J in this instant, and they're now all one object, but obviously they're still not attached. And let's undo that quickly. Which object did I select last? I selected this one, and its pivot point was here. So it's going to, every single object's going to have that pivot point. So a good one to select last is probably the hand model, isn't it? And then Control J to make sure we've got the same pivot point for everything in the middle there. Instead of if I use the finger and I'd move the pivot point, it would be over here and sort of slightly out of center. Not that it matters too much. Hello, Shazeb. I really don't know how to pronounce your name there. But nice to see you again. What's the opposite of Control J? Unjoin. Now there is, yeah. So you go into edit mode and you select something like, I'll just press Alt A to deselect all, L, and I can then P. In fact, I don't need to select everything. I can just press P by loose parts, and now all those are separate objects again. So I'll have to go back and link them all together with Control J. Okay. So it's a bit of a weird one. You'd think it'd be Alt J, really, wouldn't you? So, to unjoin. Thanks for subscribing, me112 Julie _Julie. Okay, so back into edit mode. Let's select some faces. So 3, select these, and select these, and then what do I press to join them together? Well, it is, wait for it. Who's going to be the first to say what button do I press to get these to slot together? I don't even have to delete them with this button. That's how cool it is. There must be quite a delay because I'm sure someone's typed it in by now. What is it? It's is it under the right click menu? I don't think it is under here. Nope, it's not under right click. It's not J. I don't think it's that's the one. Someone said it. Ashley Barnes, bridge edge loops. Yep. So if I press J now, no, there we go. It's Control E to go to the edge menu. Control E and then bridge edge loops there. Ba-dang! Whoa! I need a special sound effect button. So it goes bling when I do something, well, when Blender does something cool anyway. It's a bit skew-if at the moment. That's a nice English phrase for you, skew-if. Ever come across that one? So I've probably just got to move this lot here. Let's go into wireframe mode and see what's going on with this. Who modelled this rubbish, eh? Oh, actually, did select the edge loop around there. That's nice. Back to top view. G to grab. Let's move that into position. Probably need to move this bit into position as well. This way it gets a bit fiddly, and it's actually quite difficult to watch because I'm moving around the viewport, so it's not so bad. But if you're trying to watch this, sometimes it's quite disorientated when someone's in wireframe mode, especially when there's a background image like that horrendous hand there. But there we go. We're not too bad. It's we are pretty bad actually. Look at that. There we go. There's my hand. What a great model, Grant. You are really good at this, aren't you? There we go. And we need to. I could press this. Oh, what could I do to smooth this out somehow? Check the keys in the in what I said. I don't know, but what can I do? There's a way I could just sort of smooth that out so it gets in line better. What can I do? Well, we go all the way up to here to vertex menu, which is Control V for short, and we go to smooth vertex. And do you see how it's sort of smoothed out? And we've got this slider here, and it can smooth it out. How cool is that? Very. Let's just tidy some of this up a little bit, just a touch. Well, it's not looking that great at the moment, but I assure you, this is going to be a very, very good hand model. God, it's all over the place at the moment, isn't it? But it's, to be fair, that's not too bad, and I can probably do some slight sculpting on that to tidy it up in a minute. So we need to go round and do the thing. F3 smooth. Oh, so F3 and fine smooth vertex. Yeah, it's in the vertex menu. Anyway, where was I? Into face mode. Let's get these faces and these faces. Control E, bridge edge loops. Control E, bridge edge loops. And it's done it again. Beauty. Look at that. I love it when things get sort of automated like that. And you think, oh, that's just great, isn't it? Shall I tidy that up now? Let's have another look. I mean, it's sort of actually in line. It's just this one here, isn't it? Let's go to top view and just move that across. And this one here. G to grab. That one again. G to grab. And actually what I'm doing is silly actually. I need to grab this top as well and G to edge slide that up there, because there we go, that's a bit more like it. That's a bit handier. Wouldn't you agree? Into pixel. I must say, Grant, that's a nice watch you got. Yeah, I spent a bit of money on this one. It is off eBay because I never buy anything new unless it's a new computer, because secondhand is, yeah, anyway. But it's sort of sports watch in the sense that it's what do you call it? It's got GPS and stuff. Although it's pretty old these days, to be honest. But I do river swimming, and I want to see the distance I'm going. Thanks for subscribing, V. Thank you very much. Oh, Blender Guy, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks for joining us, and good night.
Ooh, well, thank you very much.
Can't help it. I giggle at myself. Having fun. You know what I'm like. You know what I'm like. Okay, let's grab these faces and these faces this time. What do I press? Thinking ahead, what did he press this then? In fact, it actually helps if you're watching a tutorial. Imagine yourself pressing the buttons if you aren't sort of following along with the tutorial. So you get the hand-eye coordination. It links up in your brain. Control E, mark seams. Not mark seams. Bridge edge loops. Where did that mark seams pop out? Yeah, probably do need another edge loop down here. If I was doing a sort of high poly model, then I would, but I'm not too worried because I'm just going to sculpt on top of this and keep it fairly low poly. I will tidy these. I mean, this is horrendous, isn't it? What's going on here? I'll tidy that up now, actually, because that just looks so bad, doesn't it? So, I mean, I probably can go in here, select some edge loops around here, and let's try that. Should we see how far it will go? Control V, which is the vertex menu up there, and we go to smooth verts. And look at that. It's pretty cool, isn't it? So if ever you've got bad topology all over the place, just get the smooth verts out. Does the job lovely. I've gone Cockney suddenly. Cockney is what we refer to. It's sort of, you're from London, basically. From London, and you've got a Cockney accent. And American movies often get it wrong. And they give... they've got a really posh British person, and then they've got a Cockney British person, and you sort of think, well, they've got a Cockney accent. But not that this matters in the slightest to us, does it? Let's get these edge loops here and do the same. I'm quite enjoying that Control V, which is the vertex menu, smooth verts. Oh, and we've got this slider as well and everything. Look at that. and that's looking good, isn't it? I'm just going to get this one down here and this one here. Go to 7 and just grab those, pull them out. So there. There we go. Do I need another edge loop? Maybe. Thank you, Sadir Moira, for subscribing. What's Mobile Studio Pro? That's I'll show you. I'm always very proud of my. There we go. That's a Mobile Studio Pro. So you can see it up in the corner there, here. So it's a computer in itself. So it's linked up, but you just see the wires there. So that's how I plug it into my computer. But I can unplug this, which I won't do because it'll mess the stream up, and then use it as a computer. So it's more expensive than a Cintique. I mean, I got mine secondhand, of course. You know what I'm like. But I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a sort of mobile option? In terms of running Blender, it's pretty good. It's not bad at all, and it copes with Blender 2.8. But going at a certain resolution and sculpting, it starts to lag a little bit. Although this is the sort of most powerful one you could get at the time, anyway. Gee, how come your mum lets you have 2 computers? It's very important to her that I have room to develop my Blender skills. Did see my mum today. She went and visited. They just, oh man, the dog. Oh, they've got a dog. It's a Sprocker, so a Cocker Spaniel mixed with a Springer Spaniel. I'm just going to do Control E, bridge edge loops, and then go to smooth, Control V, and smooth verts. Smooth those out, or smooth them out, lovely. You can't help but love that, can you? And one of the dogs is just absolutely mad, absolutely crazy, and not just like dog crazy, which dogs are crazy, aren't they? But this is absolutely loopy, and it just eats everything. And it ate a whole towel, quite a big towel, about this sort of, if the towel was scrunched up, it would be about this big. So it's not like a hand towel, but it wasn't like a dishcloth. It was a hand towel, and he ate the whole thing, and it was stuck in his stomach. And they had to have an operation. It cut the dog in half almost, and pull this towel out. And they got the bill. Oh. Oh dear. Well, let's just say you could have bought my Mobile Studio Pro 1.5 times. Yeah, exactly. Springer Spaniel Cross is a bounty. I have a Sprocker myself. He's not around at the moment. He's probably going to go mad in a second because my wife is going to come home any moment and he's going to go crazy. But he's pretty good, actually. Sometimes you get good ones, and he just really wants to please. So he's really obedient and quite. I mean, obviously, he's an annoying pain in the butt a lot of the time, but generally speaking, he really wants to sort of please. Whereas Sprocket, they call him, this dog, he's just so crazy. Do you know, I probably needed a cut around here, didn't I? Have I got space for a loop cut that go all the way around the hand? I mean, that just seems a bit insane, doesn't it? I'm not going to do that, but I could do that. I could do that if I wanted to. Anyway. We've all been there with towel eating. I know. You can't help it. Yeah, the dog's all good now. Thanks for asking, Mike. Oh, dear. Your hand's pointer finger looks off. Oh, yeah, it does actually, doesn't it? Do you mean this pointer finger? This one? Oh, look, there we go. Do you mean there? They're probably all like that, aren't they? Yeah, they are. And just sort of quickly tidying up my eye. I mean, I can sculpt those things out. That's not really a problem. Do you know what I forgot to do? Was copy one of these for my thumb. So let's grab that. I'm just sort of reminding myself of where I need to be. It's, for some reason, in my head, I find it really awkward when it comes to thumbs, which is quite ridiculous. Yes, yeah, I've modelled hands before, so does it look like I haven't? Your thumb is the same as a finger, but it goes down to here, and it's just something that I can never get my head around, and I always think it's got like 3 bits at the top here. Yeah, weird. I just had to go and watch the Flat Earth video thanks to the earlier discussion. Oh, it's a rabbit hole. but no one knows where it goes because it's, the Earth is flat, so the rabbit hole just keeps going down. Discord link. Yeah, did you paste it in the chat? Because that's going to be impossible for me to find. Maybe just can you email it to me? Can I just? I've just hit the mic. At gmail.com. Just quickly email it to me, and then I'll have the link ready to go. Sorry, I'm moving the mic around. Hopefully that didn't crackle and annoy people too much. Do you have a previous part of this somewhere? Yeah, there's a playlist of Abbitt Live playlist, I think it is. Now make the Infinity Gauntlet. It's too dangerous. It's way too dangerous. The last time I did that, there was, carnage. Anyway, where were we? What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm copying a finger, aren't I? So, let's go to the top here. So if you accidentally joined all your fingers up and forgot to copy, but obviously I was doing that to teach you something, but in case you accidentally do that, foolish person that you are, you go to face mode, select those. In fact, there used to be a shortcut for lasso to select. I'm sure that was something like Control. What is it now though? Shortcut cycle W and shortcut shift spacebar L. Let's have a look, because I hate changing that tool because it's just annoying. So what was I again? Lasso select W. Let's see. W. No, now you see it changes the button. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm going back to Blender 2.79. I had enough. That's it. I can't cope with this. Okay, Shift D, duplicate, and bring it down here. Let's rotate it into a rough position. Somewhere around there. It looks okay actually, doesn't it? I mean, obviously this will go downwards, so we can look at side view. But should we do that after the fact? No, we'll probably do it now actually. Let's rotate and pull it down a little bit like this. And that's just delightful, isn't it? Let's go to top view again. Thanks for subscribing, Rello Yorobi. Just sending me an email. Excellent, thanks for that. I'll quickly get on my email. Someone's donated. Chance McDonald, thank you very much. Donated to PayPal. That's really kind of you. I'm noticing that in my inbox at the moment. He probably donated it to say maybe he doesn't want the me to shout it out on the channel. I've just shouted it out on the channel, so apologies if you wanted to keep that private. Anyway, Interpixel, thank you very much for posting the Discord link. So let's put that up in the description. Can't select it at the moment. There we go. Thanks for subscribing, Jean Baptiste, and can't see who else. Where are we? Where was a live stream? There we go. Notice the other one. YouTube details, Discord. Yeah, it isn't there, is it? I believe you now. Discord. So I'll put it at the end. Just there. Save. Okay. Now we've got a Discord link on there. So if you want to join in the competitions that we do, I can't remember. We got Neon City. It's quite a cool one. I do like the idea of that. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, YouTube doesn't let people link. I think they don't like people leaving YouTube. I think it's the actual reason. But they could argue that it leads people and it's safety, all that sort of stuff. It's a bit like school, isn't it? Where was I? Oh yeah, so I've got this now. Now I need to link this up. Let's just have a look what's going on here. And top view. Why can I never find top view? What's wrong with me? Let's get this loop here and just scale it up a fair bit. And grab and move it in to about there, I think. It's overlapping slightly, but we should be able to sort this out. It's a bit tricky, isn't it? Because you're probably thinking, I can't understand that wireframe there. GG, so edge slide that. Now, this time I'll have to delete. Now this is very different, isn't it? Now, how am I going to do this? Hadn't thought about this one. The best way to cut this up, I mean, it might be useful to have a loop cut across here anyway, an extra one, and just edge slide this, GG, edge slide, GG, edge slide. And we can actually get these faces down here. Am I making sense here? I'm just sort of thinking out loud. And scale that down, probably just have a look at my hand there. Scale these down in the Z. And then I need to smooth that out in a bit, but I can do that. Yeah, I feel like that topology isn't the best. I should have gone down that way. We were talking about that earlier, and I was saying, no, don't go down that way. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to add a loop cut down there because it makes it more even. You don't really need to do that. I'm probably going too far again with the topology. If I was doing this on my own, I probably wouldn't go this far, and then sort of add to it later if I needed to and stuff, when I sort of got the sculpt ready. But I'm trying to show you good topology as well in case you want to just box model your characters and stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. Should you rotate the thumb on its own y-axis before joining? Your knuckle isn't pointed in the right. Thank you. Yes, indeed. The knuckle is pointed in the wrong direction, isn't it? It's sort of, it needs to be, yep. Good point. Good point. Alt, so L, and it needs to come around this way. I mean, I could go to the local axis, but I can just do it by eye. I'm that good, you know. If you kind of line your camera up like this, you can do it by eye, and sometimes it's just easier to think like that, just occasionally, isn't it? I'm a very sort of freehand type of person, really, which maybe isn't good. Sometimes it's better to be a bit more sort of, I don't know. It's probably the sort of artistic side. Anyway, let's, right now we got these, delete these, delete faces. We should have the same amount because there was 3 like that on the other one, so it should, all going well. This is slightly different because we've got a gap here. We can't select the faces and do bridge edge loops. We have to select the loops and Control E, bridge edge loops. Does a beautiful job. Those 2 slightly overlap, so let's use Control V to go to the vertex menu and smooth vertex. Vertex? Yeah, because there's 6 vertices. You call that vertex. There we go. It does often make it smaller when they're circular like that, so you do have to sort of adjust them back into shape and things. That one certainly. Oh, I've got weird selection mode. Oh, I don't like it. Get that one there. There we go. Thanks for subscribing. I missed who that was. I was distracted by my silliness. Once again, silliness prevailed. I'm not doing this very neatly, am I? That's okay, isn't it? That's correct. It's all correct. It's very correct thumb, this, isn't it? Very correct. Oh, look at that for handy. It's not too bad. What lets it down a bit is that there's no cut down here. Now, what's a way I could sort that out? Yeah, have a think. I'm going to sort it out because we need to have good topology. It must be done. So it's not easy to sort out, actually, having a look at it. A tricky one. A very tricky one. I'm thinking... Just have a look at it yourselves and have a think. How is this going to work? It's at this point, the loop cuts are going to go all over the place. You can see like this, and that's where it starts getting, oh, well, I just had a loop cut down there, but it's going all the way around the bottom as well. So it is a tricky one. And now slap that on Minecraft, Steve. Yes, hello, Eutus the Fetus. Thank you very much for saying it's really cool. You're a freehand person? Oh, no, I didn't even realise I was doing the puns there. Oh, that's just brilliant. Make the fingers bigger. I mean, I'm modelling it on my hand, and my hand is the best hand. So why would I want to make the fingers bigger? At least this is the perfect hand. I could do, yeah. I mean, I can sculpt that in later. A lot of people... Oh, sorry, that's... yeah. Can someone explain to me why people are making handy jokes? Does that need explanation? I will add an armature and stuff like that later on when it comes to... Because this whole character will have an armature and stuff, so yeah. How to handle pen for the tablet. I have a problem trying to press buttons with thumb, but those buttons are not tactile. They're not easy to feel. What to do? Do you know, I've got my... I didn't realise I had my webcam set up. All these buttons down here, I never use unless I'm using this as a mobile, so I unplug it. I have my keyboard over here, so I never press these, just use my keyboard. But it's because a lot of the time you have to uninstall drivers and then reinstall them and then set it up. The only thing I change, my camera's working, is if I get my Wacom settings, this is useful for most people here as well, is on my device there is Mobile Studio Pro, pen settings. The only thing I change is that button to right click and that button to middle click, and then you can do everything you need to, the same as a mouse. At times, I mean, if you're trying to model with your pen, I just wouldn't bother, because things like middle click and wheel is quite awkward with a pen. In fact, it's not possible, is it? There are ways in Blender where you can go to Edit, Preferences, and in here, in Input, you can emulate 3-button mouse. And so you have to hold down Alt and then select things. But that's really awkward when you're trying to select loop cuts, for example, and stuff like that. So I'd steer clear of that and just change that middle mouse button to middle click. Anyway, where was I? I was talking topology. We're talking topology. But I'm thinking about this. I am going to do this. Oh, you didn't just do that, Grant. Oh, you just made a triangle. I did. I'm doing it. I'm making a triangle. Now, can I feel like I'm tempted to go in there. And that would be quite nice. And that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Now, how can I make this? So the better place for, do I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. I'm just having a think about the best place for this. Probably having a cut down there. And yep, we've got triangles around the place, but does that matter too much? Because I can come down here. But I suppose I'd have one at the bottom there as well. You see, that's the problem you're going to have when you're doing retopology. But I think it's probably worth having a cut down here at the bottom as well. I'm going to hide my reference images. Bing, bing. Because there's a sort of gap there as well, isn't there? So it's going to be the same. So I'm just going to cut to there. And yep, I can then go in and get rid of that one and that one. Delete, dissolve edges. Okay, so we've got slightly better topology, and then I can move this out and flesh it out, literally. There we go. And that one there. And all these here. Oh. But obviously I've got an end gone here. Now, I could get away with that. It wouldn't be that bad. And for the time being, I'm just going to do that. I don't think it's so advantageous here. I feel like actually this could go a bit further. But that sort of makes sense with the edge flow going that way. And this is kicking my butt now, isn't it, going this side, when I should have gone that way. That's hilarious. So hopefully we can learn something from the purposeful mistake that I put in there, that I should have gone this way round with my edge flow. But it's really hard to sort of readjust that now, because it's going all the way around the mesh, and you need to sort of cut in here and cut all the way around. But so I've got a couple of triangles. I'm going to select this one and delete that, dissolve edges, and I'm going to keep that triangle there. I mean, I could come around here and into the other one here, and I could get rid of those triangles. Actually, yeah, let's do that. I mean, that's not even that hard. So why am I moaning about topology? Especially as I'm live, I ought to be doing proper topology. Ready for it? Ready for it? Oh, I just pressed the mouse button there. How do I do that? Backspace, is it? Or is it Control Z, isn't it? Oh, I'm sure there's a way to get rid of a cut if you get it wrong. Where is it? It says at the bottom of the screen. Where are we going? I can't remember. Enter to convert. Escape. Right mouse button. What does right mouse? No, I can't remember. How do I undo the last cut? Anybody? Anyway, I'm coming around here. Thanks for subscribing. I missed who that was then. I'm sorry, what's coming? What is? Oh, that's to someone else. So going around here, coming around here, coming around here, and into here. And now, the beauty of quads is returned. Ta-da! And we've got a bit of a smoother thing going on there. Look at what's going on with my finger there, man. Actually, it probably does suit the reference image, to be honest. Just going to adjust this slightly. Okay, so there is my hand. And at this point, I better save my work, hadn't I? I haven't saved it for donkey's years. Is that a term that other people use in other countries? Donkey's years? It probably is, isn't it? Because donkeys get around, don't they? Where are we? Am I going to make two different hands? I'll just duplicate this and sort of flip it, scale in the x -1. The palm looks too long to me. I have got a reference image here, so you're actually dissing my hand. How very dare you! I can't believe. Okay, where are we? Let's grab these and get rid of that, and I'll just extrude this out because we'll probably need to do that, won't we? Oh, I pressed XX but it's not going to do that, is it? And I'll extrude it out a bit more. I think we're doing all right. I think it's okay. I mean, it's a bit fat in places, isn't it? So I need to just sort of tidy that, but I can probably do that with the multi-resolution modifier, then sort of apply that to the base. So let's go to the multi-resolution modifier now. I'll just resave that bit, save again with a different file. So this is going to be 12B. Oh, we've got loads of iterations here. Where are I? Press X to undo. X to undo the last cut. Was that it? Thank you very much for that. VEIKK. Now you're teaching me. There we go. I need to donate to the VEIKK's channel. At least that's what it looks like to me. Extra edge loop. I mean, I ought to even these out, really, shouldn't I? I can. I'm probably being a bit pernickety, really. Down here, I'm going to get rid of my reference image again, and GG and slide it across. It'd be handy actually if there was a sort of add-on that did this sort of thing manually. There we go. That's pretty even. That is now, isn't it? Oh yes. GG. Oh, that's what you mean. The edge loops are making it uneven. That's what you actually meant, wasn't it? Yeah. So I need to get this edge loop along here. Control click this time. There we go. And control click. That's sort of, well, you can guess what that does. What I've done there. I've scaled on the Z. Oh, that is not what I was expecting to happen. I would have thought that would go to the. That's doing a sort of. I'm really surprised that happened then. Let's just select one at a time then, and G then Z. Yeah, that's a weird one. G then Z. It's sort of working now, isn't it? There we go. But I can do this in the sculpt. So why am I stalling going to the sculpt? Let's just see what people are saying first. You've been called out by CG Matter. How are you going to respond? Have I been called out? Has he done a video recently? He's a crazy guy, CG Matter. He was talking about rap battles recently. So whether... I'm not going to do a rap battle, am I? Thank you, Interpixel. Looking really good, like that. Use smooth first. That would probably be easier, wouldn't it? But we can do that with the sculpting, really, can't we? I'm thinking the topology on the inside might be a little bit extreme. We probably don't need these extra bits along here, but it's fine. It's not going to make too much difference. This looks a bit long and thin, you see, but it should be fine. What has CG Matter said? Is he on the stream? He made a diss track. You got to respond with a rap. It's the only way. Oh no, he's won then. So shade smooth. Shade smooth. There we go. I mean, that is pretty AAA, isn't it? Oh, fantastic. It's a model. It's a 3D model. It's not real. It's not a real hand. Yeah, I know. Yes, so this is the base mesh before sculpting. Now turn on Dyn Topo. No, that's not what we're doing. We are doing it with multi-resolution modifier. Let's go to sculpting then. Let's sculpt mode over here. And I mean, you can just sculpt with what you've got, and you can use the smooth brush to smooth areas out like this, but we haven't got a lot of resolution to play with, so it'll end up making everything really thin like that. So that can be quite tricky. And of course you can use the grab brush and sort of move things into place and sort of adjust things as needed. So on the underside, for example, you probably want a bit of slope going up there, for example, and on the upper side. And in the fingers, I mean, we can get all the fingers a bit, bring them up a bit, we can bring the ends down a little bit. Oh, it's just looking amazing, isn't it? I'm doing this with my mouse as well. That's how good I am. Sorry. But that's quite good, the new sculpting brush. Can you see how it sort of adjusts to the normals like that? It's quite clever. Anyway, so it's a bit better. But what we actually want to do is go to the modifiers now. Did I save my work? I didn't I? I'll just resave. And because this is where glitches might happen. A bit more curve to the fingers? Yes, they probably do need a bit more curve. I mean, I could do that by going in. We'll go through the multi-resolution modifier now, but I could go into edit mode and adjust the fingers and give them a curve, and that'd be fine. But what would be the point? Because I'm going to rig this later anyway, and actually I need it to be like this so that I can join the bones up of the auto rig mesh. Is Raymond still with us actually? How's Raymond doing? Haven't spoken to him for a while. That's funny. Literally, as I said that, you must have posted that before. I said, "Oh, that's quite funny." Arrogant Grant is a great character. Arrogant Grant, I call him. Yes, brilliant. Anyway, add modifier. So the multi-resolution modifier. Where have you gone? There you are, right in the middle there. It's under generate. Would you believe it? How about that? Okay, so we've got the multi-resolution modifier, and it's like this. So I've explained this in previous streams, but I'll very briefly explain it. You might want to have a look back at them. Make sure you watch all the adverts. And we go to subdivide. Now what that's doing is exactly the same thing as the subdivision surface modifier. So if we go to wireframe, I think we'll see that. So it's subdivided everything, and oh, look at that topology. Hasn't he done a great job? Oh yes, that's a wave of approval there. If I had two of them, I'd clap them together. What was I saying? Before I became Arrogant Grant again. Yeah, so it's doing the same thing as the subdivision surface modifier, but with a difference. We can sculpt on it. We can sculpt on these higher levels. So let's subdivide again. And it's got that much detail. Subdivide again. And we can take this high detailed mesh. I'm just thinking, do I actually want to extend this out? Actually, I'm going to extend it out to the forearm before doing this. So I can bring this down and delete higher. So that's how we... Oh, I thought that's how we did. Delete higher? No? Ah, so this must be the bug that they were talking about. I'm assuming anyway. I could just do that. That would make more sense. What I'm going to do before doing that, because it's very difficult, I think this is the problem that they're having with the coding and stuff, is if I don't make sure my model's the right shape to start with, then it might kill all my sculpting. So I'll just extrude that out a bit more. Oh, what's happened to your arm, Grant? What's happened to it? I think CG Matter is unfair calling me out with raps, because rap comes from America, and he sort of, if he challenged me to a game of football, well, that is in soccer, then I'll be well up for it. But rap, can't do that one. I mean, as long as I've got the topology here, I can add to it later, and I should really subdivide that as well. There we go. And that's going to go into my sleeve. I'll just show you. So if I press Alt-H, it's going to bring out absolutely everything. Yeah, so there's my character. My hand's a bit big, but I can then push this arm up the sleeve like that. That's what I'm thinking. If it comes to the worst, I'll have to join it together and sort of remesh things and stuff. It doesn't matter too much. There's a free add-on for Blender called Edge Flow that adjusts the flow of the edge automatically. Just Google Benjamin Sauder, is it? Edge Flow GitHub. Oh, I'll have a look at that. That's interesting. Rig the hand and do the OK hand. Oh, indeed. Make thumb muscles next to palm more exaggerated. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do now, is sort of start thinking about those things. Yeah, I certainly will check out CG Matter's video. If you haven't come across CG Matter, he does some really great stuff, so it's worth subscribing to his channel. I'm assuming most people here probably already know about him, but yeah, he's very, very good, although he's not very good at rapping apparently. Dreadful. Anyway, what am I doing? I am where is it? This should go in a hand collection. So let's move this to new collection, hand. And then I can hide the other collections nice and easily. So clothing, get rid of that. Collection, background images, hand. No, that's what I'm using. Okay. We're getting near time. So I'll just do a quick bit of sculpting. That'd be fun. So get my glove on. Why do you use a glove gun? Well, I'll tell you why I use a glove. Because you've always got some grease on your hands, even if you clean them really well. And that will make your screen sticky, and it just slides across it more easily if you've got a glove on. I'm going to move my monitor towards me slightly. So always a little bit iffy moving my monitor because it might lose the stream. Yes, this video will be in the Abbitt Live playlist. In fact, I might separate the playlist out a bit more now into competition playlists and maybe this character one as well. So where were we? So back to multi-resolution modifier. That's what I was talking about, wasn't I? Multi-resolution modifier. Let's subdivide and subdivide and subdivide. So we've got 3 levels of subdivision. It looks a bit rubbish at the moment, but it's going to look amazing soon. And now I can sculpt on it. That's what the multi-resolution modifier is like. It's basically the subdivision surface modifier, but for sculpting. So if I sculpt this in a really peculiar way, I can apply base, and it will change the base mesh so it matches the high model mesh. The glitch they have at the moment, I say glitch, it's not even a bug, it's just the way it's coded, and that's to improve performance. But they can't make it so that you can edit the low poly mesh and it will update the high poly mesh. It will just sort of kill your mesh altogether. Just having a look. Oh, like the new profile picture. Yeah, I thought it's a bit more of showing who I am. My artwork looked pretty dreadful, really. It was up there for ages, wasn't it? And it looked pretty horrendous. Right, let's go to sculpt mode and let's start thinking about some sculpting. First of all, we need to sort of flesh things out. You can do this with the inflate tool, and that will sort of do inflate the fingers, and I can sort of inflate these. Is that working? That's going inwards. Now try and figure out why is it going inwards? Why is it going inwards, anybody? What has happened here? Think about why you think it might be going inwards. So let's go back to edit mode this time. And up here, really handy, we can see what's going on. Face orientation. It's all red and it should be blue. So that means the normals are the wrong way. Indeed, modem head and max raquette. I'm pronouncing that wrong, aren't I? How was I supposed to pronounce? I can't remember. Yep, flip normals. So how do we do? Anybody know the shortcut? Shortcut for flip normals? Shift N for normals. Shift N, and there we go. Recalculate, and I'm going to have to press inside. Sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you have to tick inside. And of course, you need to select them. That's, you see, these purples for mistakes I put in. That's because I'm such a great teacher, and yeah, everybody learns so much from me and my mistakes that I purposely put in. So Shift N, and it's all blue now. There we go, and we know it's going to not sculpt in a stupid way. Sculpt mode. So can we see that there was a slight glitch in the mesh over here? So if I start smoothing that out now, so smooth that out a bit there. Which is sort of doing an okay job, but not brilliant. Okay, now if I apply base, hopefully this is not going to glitch out on me. No, I think they've changed it, haven't they? That's weird. That didn't work. So maybe that is the bug. And look, I can't, I can undo, that's not too bad. Apply base. Now it seems to be working. So now I go back to my original object, yeah, and it's smoothed it out. There is a bit of a glitch there, isn't there? Yeah, but apply base is what you're supposed to do. And it should, so now I've applied the base, it's updated my base mesh to align these the low poly mesh with the new sculpted version. So if I pull something out miles, let's just do that so you can see what it's doing. So there we go. It's a bit deformed. That's based on my hand. And then we apply base. It's not quite there, but I'm going to undo that and I'm going to apply the base again. Oh, now that's interesting. Now it's sort of working. Sort of working anyway. Back to edit mode, you can see the base has actually changed. The base model has changed. It's a little bit glitchy though, so obviously be careful how much you're using it. Send me a Google Translate link. Thank you. Okay, so let's just undo a few steps there. Hopefully it's going to do that. Yes, it's done that all right. Because I was listening to Pablo's talk about sculpting earlier, and he was saying something about, let's get my reference images up actually. Yep, very important to have some reference images. I mean, I've got my own hand here. I suppose I could zoom into that a bit, but I've got a lot of hands here as well. Very handy. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I was watching the thing that Pablo was showing. Oh, I must remember this is only a cartoon hand. It's not a... Otherwise I'll just take it way too far and go overboard. But yeah, so he was talking about some of the problems that they were having with the sculpting with multi-res particularly. So yeah, I mean that's very simplistic what I'm doing here. 2 tendons going down there, isn't there? And knuckle around here, knuckle around there. Oh, loving it. Might be a bit too much in the middle there. It's actually starting to look like my hand now. And I'm just tinkering away now. The inflate brush is a good one to start off with. Not if you do that though, a little bit too much. Just to sort of add life to it, especially if you've done a subdivision surface modifier, because that sort of squeezes things in a bit, doesn't it? Because it smooths them out, but sort of smooth. That's what happens when you smooth. They come in together in sort of circular ways, sort of thing. What's going? Hand is perfect for horror games. Is it looking a bit sort of spindly? It is still, isn't it? Let's see if we can add a bit more life to it. I mean, my hand is kind of spindly. Let's go to the side. Oh, that's pretty horrendous. Let's smooth those out a little bit. Yeah, I'm just getting a very rough shape at the moment. The brushes are... It might be just the multi-resolution modifier, because I'm actually more used to sculpting with Dyne Topo. More a Dyne Topo free sculptor. And the smooth does sort of some interesting stuff in a way with multi-resolution modifier. As you can see, it's not going very far when I'm smoothing, but bad workman, you know what they say. Blame the tools. So once I've done a bit of inflating, it's looking a bit rough at the moment, isn't it? It's not too bad though. Yeah, it's a little bit out, but still. Let's have a look at some of the reference images. What are people saying anyway? Is the whole character have its animation stream later on? What do you mean there? Frankenstein potato. Interesting name. The whole stream is available. So in other words, yeah, there's a playlist with it. Is what I'm trying to say. What's the time? Oh, I'm almost at time. Gotta get ready. Now I noticed my wife came home and the dog didn't go crazy, so he's not living up to his reputation. He knew that I was talking about him. We need a knuckle, not a knuckle, a wrist bone around here. I ought to be a bit more precise with that, I suppose, and actually look at the reference for that. Background images, character ref. I would have thought I would have put it in there, but I obviously didn't, did I? Ah, there they are. That's not very useful, is it? I'll put it in the clothing ones. That's top view. Okay, so there's... There we go. Thanks for subscribing, Sergio. Right, so yeah, I'm going all quiet now because I'm sort of getting into the sculpting, really. This is the fun bit, really, isn't it? Maybe I should save this process for next time. But you can sort of see where I'm going with this. I'm just going to hide the clothing stuff and starting to come out with really bad hand model at the moment. Why is that knuckle there? It should be up here, shouldn't it? That's a bit better, but it's too big. There we go. And then once you get going, it's tough to stop, isn't it? So I will talk about rigging in animation. Well, not so much animation, not a lot, but I'll talk about rigging within this stream in later episodes. Yep. Could you just bake out my procedural textures all in one pass? It would be great. I'm not sure quite what you mean, because do you mean as in fact, no, I'm not, not going to bake out your textures for you. It's a good thing for you to learn, and it just takes time, and I haven't got the time for my computer to not be free doing my own things. That sounded rude. I didn't mean to be rude then, but I'm afraid I will not be baking out your stuff. Where are we? No problem, Frankenstein potato. Just having a look at what people say. Good night, Milan. Thanks for joining us. I'm surprised you're still with us, actually. You did say you were going to disappear earlier. Okay, so at this point, I think it probably is... We are 6 o'clock, yeah. So, because like I say, keep saying, actually. So I'm trying to say, look, I've got friends. I do actually go out. I'm pretending I go out. The next brush I would go to, though, is the crease brush. Don't go too early, but when you're sort of happy-ish with your shape, then start going in and adding some detail with the crease brush, as I'm doing here. That's a bit misshapen, though, isn't it? That's where it gets a little bit tricky. Always look down your fingers and make sure they're curved, and this one has gone a little bit skew-if. And just bulk it out a bit with just the draw brush, in this case. Smooth it out down there. Lovely job. It's not looking too bad, though, is it? We're sort of getting there. And then back to the crease brush, my favourite. And let's start thinking... I'm just looking at reference images as well, so don't do anything stupid, especially while someone on a live stream. I'll get my hand up, actually, and look at that. So it's sort of going across here, isn't it? Yeah, so from the top here, so I can do a reverse crease. What do I mean by a reverse crease, anybody? What did I just do there? So a reverse crease is where it sort of sticks out like that. As you can see there. The reverse crease. I call it a reverse crease. I don't think that's its official name at all. But it's holding control down. And then it will stick out at you. Like this. So it's sort of getting there, isn't it? It's a bit knuckly bony. But yeah, sort of working as a hand. It's not too bad, actually, is it? You're using the modifier, not the Dyne Topo. Why? Now the reason for that is because I've got some nice topology that I can use. Ooh, that's interesting. So what I'm going to have to do is apply base. This might kill it, actually. I'm a bit worried about this. Didn't do too bad. It did some weird stuff down here, didn't it? That's the glitch I think the problem they have. I'm going to undo that. Whoa, what's going on here? See, it took a few steps backwards. That's strange, isn't it? I'm going to turn off face orientation, so that's not a problem. And then try and apply base again. No, it's still going to do it, so I'm just going to have to smooth that out. Strange. Let's just go to edit mode. There we go. So because I've got nice topology, in my opinion, then I can easily bake out the normal maps onto this low poly object here. That's the thinking anyway. I mean, you don't have to. You can sort of shrink wrap your high poly to the Dyne Topo mesh, and I might even do that later on, because I feel like there's a bit too many glitches now with the multi-resolution modifier to really work with it well. Possibly. There's an argument for that and for and against. Anyway, so I'm going to pause there. Let's go back to sculpt mode, so it's got something nice to look at whilst I'm just taking any questions and answering a few of those. So it's looking okay, isn't it? And in fact, I suppose we ought to just resize him a bit. So into layout, so object mode, back to layout. I'll scale it down loads, bring back the clothing. I'm going to move these to background images. And what an unfortunate place for the hand. Let's scale it down, grab, and this is the right hand, isn't it? Rotate around the X 90, minus, and then sort of move it into position a bit. Let's get the front view, move it into position, somewhere around there, rotate, and then rotate around the X again. No, actually, we'll go rotate local X, is it? Local Y? No, it's probably Z, actually. No, local Y, isn't it? There we go. Y twice is local Y. The thing that makes sense, doesn't it? Just moving it into position. I mean, I could have used some snapping there and stuff as well, but we're roughly there. Probably, I can't remember how Rigify. I'm going to use a Rigify rig, and I think they have their hands like that, basically. So we're not looking too bad. There, it's looking a bit spindly, to be honest, actually. But it might need to come down a bit. So thinking about hand size, your hand, I would show my foot, but it's not far off your foot really, and the feet are fairly big, so I think we're probably about the right size really. And the fingers are sprayed out, so it looks a little bit strange at the moment, but that's more for rigging. So I'm getting it ready for rigging, not that's not how it's finally going to look. Hopefully that's all making sense. Just having a look at this. Not sure why the t-shirt only has one arm. Strange. Anyway, so let's have a look at some questions. So hello, if you want to, so this is Carl, Sayer, is that right? If I want to sculpt a full character, do you recommend using metables for all the body and face, or just round cubes with the Boolean modifier, or is there another method? The method these days, you can use all sorts of shapes and just, so I think I've got a tutorial on making a sort of block man. You can even do a block man these days because, let's just quickly do that here. Grab and then Shift D, and let's say this is his arm. Obviously, you'd put in a bit more effort, but you can just select both of them, Control J now, and then go across the sculpt mode and remesh. And it has joined them together, and now they are one object. It's just absolutely astounding. You don't even need to use metaballs anymore. You can do, and look at the quality of that mesh as well. It's quite amazing, really, isn't it? Anyway, so yeah, that's how I would sort of suggest doing it. You can use metaballs as well. It can work quite well. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Thanks for the stream, Ashley. No problem, Ashley. You've kept me company while I model my monthly competition entry. Good job. I look forward to seeing it. I'm assuming that's the neon competition. What model is your tablet? I like the size. Yep, it's in the description. It's a Wacom Mobile Studio Pro. Carl, again, if I want to sculpt oh, that's the same one. It's just you were worried that I was going to miss it. Yeah, no problem. Remesh is also in the Object Data tab properties. Yep, so it's down here in sculpt mode as well. You'll see it down here. I suppose if I go to sculpt mode, I haven't got anything selected, but you'll see it down there. And there's a few more options down there which can be helpful. Remesh is also, is it alright that when you're modelling a character, you can model it in small pieces and just attach them, and you won't face any problems in rigging and animation? Yeah, you don't even need to attach them. You can rig with lots of separate objects. So if you're doing like a belt or something, it doesn't need to be attached to the same, it doesn't need to all be in one object. You just attach it to the right bones, and that's fine. It's not a walk with my dog I'm doing. I'm going out to see some people. So I won't be streaming. I might do one early next week. I've got quite a lot on at the moment, so I'm trying to catch up and get some jobs out the way, as it were. Will you show your dog? He does appear occasionally in my videos now and again, so maybe. Will the fingernail just be in the image texture? I'll probably sculpt that in, actually, because it'd be kind of nice to do that. Where do I find info on the competition? Well, you can find the link in the description to the Discord server. Thanks to everybody for sending me the link. And that's the way to do it. Go to the Discord server, and it's through there that we do the competition stuff. I haven't ever added collision to my characters yet, but I might try the cloth simulation on this one just for fun. Yep. Anyway, yep, so I've gone over a couple of hours now, so I think that's a good time to stop it there. Thanks, Unknown Lifeform. I'm glad you enjoyed it. What is the genre of the game? It's sort of anime. I've got that on the thing across the bottom, the sort of text along the bottom. It's the Project Crescentville and Metrovian, or whatever it's called, style. How much time do I need to invest into training and exercising per day? That's like saying it depends how good you want to be and how quickly you want to get there. I would suggest as something that you can stick to, because routines, if you can't stick to them, you'll lose the routine fairly quickly. So make it regular, something you can stick to. So if it's only 20 minutes, then it's only 20 minutes, but it's every day, and you'll certainly get good after a while. And if you might binge occasionally and have an hour or 2 hours when you can, but try and make it a routine. 1 hour minimum. Anyway, I'm gonna so there we go. Thank you, Raymond, for filling in Noxious Prime, or whatever his name was there. Just having a look at what. Yep. So so thank you for joining me. And like I say, do come across the Discord server. I'm in and out there, but if you want to speak to me, just at Grant, and I'll get back to you. If you want to show me your work and things like that, then post it on there and at Grant, and then I can see it nice and easily. And otherwise, you can always email me with these different things as well. How do you add hair? I haven't decided with this one. In fact, it's probably going to be curves. I have decided with this one, actually. Anyway, like I say, so and I should say thank you again for all those people that donated. There was Blender Guy, Milan Caracas, Blender Guy twice by the looks of things, and Milan Caracas twice. Faith Drawn Studios, Max Riquette, Jay Yasmin, Sebastian Brandt, and Unthinkable Fate. What a great name. But yeah, so this episode was sponsored by them. Much appreciated. Thanks, Christone. The Discord link isn't working. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? Oh, that's a real pain. It's in the description of all my other videos, so you'll have to watch one of my other videos. What a shame. But I'll try and remember to put the link in here. Thanks, Magnetic Resonance. Look on any other recent video. So that the interview I did with Derek Elliott recently, the Discord server should be in there. Thank you all very much. It was great fun, and I will see you next time.